Yeah, I think this was the first tournament where, and I've always been like, no bifurcation, like the golf ball. I don't think I've ever really come to terms with how much the golf ball has actually changed. But then when you hear pros talk, it's like that's the number one thing, which is like this thing is goes too straight, goes too far. This was the one tournament I did think distance kind of took away from it a little bit. Like it was just all they were talking about. It there was always that, there'll be a professional golf tournament. It'll be like, oh, this guy hits it so far. Yeah, he's way down there. But this was like every hole was like being changed because these guys were taking different lines. And I don't know, this was the first tournament that really I noticed it. And I was like, I'd like to see a change. I think I'm on board for it.
I really can't talk too much just because I really never played golf when things weren't as they are, I guess you could say. Like this really started happening like within the last like 10 years, right?
Right.
So I really never played with anything. Like when I started seriously playing golf, like the Pro V1 existed. So like I never really had, I never had the opportunity not to hit that.
Right.
So
And that's where I'm
but
confused because growing up, it was like I remember when I think maybe the R7 or whatever driver it was like, all right, drivers are maxed out. Like they can't get any better because they have the COI, so that when a ball bounces off it, this is the max that if a ball, the bounciness of the club face can only be this much, and it can only be this big, 460 cc. So like I forget what driver it was, but it came out and was like, this is the max. Like
right.
drivers cannot get any better. So I'm thinking it's more the golf ball has improved where like I don't think the drivers improve that much. Like maybe it has been getting longer I feel like every year the driver gets a little bit longer, so you feel like you're hitting it further, but
I
then you
think
hit
it's
it
more
more
of like
crooked.
it's more
I
of
don't know.
like the draw fade bias in it. That's like maybe the driver hasn't gotten like exponentially better since like the R7, like just from
Right.
like the coefficient off of it. But
Yeah.
as far as like mishits not being dramatically left or dramatically right, plus the precision of these guys, plus the extent of how like little the ball spins, like you add all that together and you get Matt Wolff.
Right. And because we have seen it. Like you think the last few driver, I remember I had the Titleist D10 and then I switched to the M2, which I still use. And that was like, oh, I hit this thing 20 yards further. Like this is insane. And then you switched to the
Yeah.
Maverick this year and you were like, I hit this thing 20 yards further. Like so
It's
we
cheating. It's
do
literally
notice it.
cheating. It's
Right.
literally cheating. And as far as like mishits, like going left or right, like you could hit one off the toe and it's going right down the middle. It's
Right.
literally cheating.
That's the only thing I'm worried about is like going backwards for amateurs, at least if they do roll it back in, because I think if you do roll it back, you have to roll it back across the board because I just don't. I don't know. I don't think bifurcation in golf because they're too closely related. People when they go out and play matches with each other, they play by the USGA rules, and like I think it would be really weird to get away from that. And like I always thought that with when the iron switched and you could only use V grooves instead of they got rid of those U grooves, and I was like, everyone's like, why don't you just like use U grooves? Like, who cares? Like, you're not playing in matches and stuff like that. But it's like, what if you do play in a match? Like, you never know. You're playing against buddies and you're using non-conforming clubs. It's like, yeah, you're not playing by USGA rules, but you kind of are. Like, you're still kind of cheating. I don't know. I
Right.
think bifurcation could get in a little gray area you don't want to get into.
I think just from I hate to use the word, but like the capitalism and the growth of like equipment companies, like they make so much money and put so much time and effort into the marketing of, we make fun of it all the time. Like every year, TaylorMade's coming out with two new drivers and Callaway's
Right.
coming out with the next thing. Like that's,
Yeah.
and it's their bread and butter. That's great. I don't think you touch clubs. I really don't think so. Like let them technologically advance clubs. But the one thing in golf that there isn't is a constant, and that should be the ball. Like
Yeah.
touch the ball. Like the ball is fine to do whatever you want. If we have to standardize a ball, well then guess what? Like you can actually see what equipment's better, right?
Right.
Because like hitting a Maverick with a Pro V1 could drastically be different than if you played the Maverick with a Chrome Soft, right? Like who?
Yep.
and also depends on like your swing and stuff like that. But if there was like a certain level of ball that you could play, or there was just one ball, like be like tennis. There's one ball, but there's 50 different style rackets, but there's one ball.
Yeah,
Um, and just touch the
I would
ball.
agree with
Let the
that.
equipment companies do whatever the heck they want with their irons and whatever and technology there. But if they're all working off the same constant, then great for that. Like it promotes innovation from the technology, the equipment companies. Because if Titleist can fabricate an iron that when you swing 171 miles an hour on it and hit it flush, it has an optimal spin rate and an optimal launch distance and all that kind of stuff. But when you hit the same exact thing with what the best thing Callaway has and it's not that good, well, guess what? Props to Titleist for having the superior equipment. And if you want to pay
Yep.
for it, great. If not, great. Go buy Callaway and have fun there.
I think it would actually be fun too. I always mess around with the thought of having like more specialized golf balls in terms of like when you would play like Mario Golf and they would have like this golf ball which
Oh
goes
yeah,
3 times further, but you lose accuracy. But then this golf ball is 3 times more accurate. So I think it would be kind of fun if they pushed it more where golf balls were more specialized, where it's like, yeah, you can hit it like 20 yards further with this ball, but like the accuracy isn't as good. Or so when you play different courses, or you can ask, hey, what ball do you play? Oh, you're going like the accuracy. What? So I think you could almost make it a little fun where you could turn it into, oh, all the old guys, they're using the ball where you hit it far because their swing speed, they don't really need they don't need the accuracy. They hit it straight enough. But guys like
right.
us, we'd probably be like, yeah, I'll give up 15 yards to hit it straighter. And
100%.
so I always think it'd be fun if they specialize the golf ball more because even right now, it's everyone uses the Pro V1. Good players, they use the Pro V1, the Chrome Soft, or the TaylorMade. You have the hipsters like our buddy Kaywood, who plays Kirkland's, or like, but mostly they're
Don't sleep
using
on
the
Snell. Don't sleep on Snell.
Snells. They do make a good
Snell makes
yellow
a
ball.
great golf ball. I've been playing a couple Snells recently, and I am a fan.
You're a fan of Snell?
Yeah,
Okay, so we
I
got
like the
Snells
Snell.
up there.
Yeah, a
Um,
mutual friend of ours gave me a couple sleeves, and been trying them out there. They're pretty sweet.
but like mostly, like I've always talked about, it's like, what ball should I play? It's like I could go out with a Chrome Soft, Pro V1, and a TP5 and hit wedges. I did it the one time. I was like, I'm going to find out what ball's best for me. I hit a few chip shots, and I was like, these balls are all exactly the same. Like I can't tell the difference. They're all premium balls. They feel good. Yeah, if you hit a top flight, you're going to be like, that feels like a rock. Like, but all these balls, they feel good. I just like the one that looks the best. But it'd be nice to have a ball that where there is some difference to them, and they're not just the best performing ball. And I don't know. I think you could open up kind of a whole market for that.
Yeah.
I would be on board with it. Or like
I
you
don't think
said,
it
just
will ever
standardize it.
happen. It will never happen, but it's fun to talk about. But I think they should
But
just standardize the ball. Like, I don't,
yeah,
like realistically, JB, do you think there'll ever be a world when the U.S. Opens at Pinehurst in 2047, and you know Tiger, what's his name, Charlie Woods, is on the third tee, and he's like, "Dad, give me the low spin distance ball." Like, no, that's not going to happen, right?
no
And then
way.
he gets to the next par three, and he's like, "Yo, Dad, give me the high spin launch ball so I can stop this thing on a dime
Well,
from
you couldn't switch
170
them
yards."
up. Let's not get carried away. You couldn't switch them up per hole. You would
Why
choose
not?
at the start of the round.
That's the can of worms you're opening up.
No, that's too big of a can of worms. I would say start of the round, you get to pick and choose.
What if you hit the fairway, you have the ability to change the ball on that
Lift
hole.
clean in place.
Yeah, you can lift clean in
Now
place
you're
in
getting
the
it.
fairway. If you're in the rough, you got to stick with the ball you chose.
I
But
would like that. In my theory of shrinking the game, that would, I mean, rounds would take 12 hours because people would be like switching balls out, looking through their bags.
and then
I do
imagine
like,
if like if you lose your like high spin, high launch ball in the water. What if you had a limit to how many you could carry of each?
oh, I like
Like
that.
if you had one
Bryson
of
18,
each,
he lost. I
yeah,
don't think he can carry the water with this high spin ball, Jim.
exactly. Like what if like all right, imagine US Open next year coming down 18 at Torrey. They have the pond up front, long second shot, right? And then like the guy lost his high high spin, high launch ball and basically like he can't get there.
I like it. See, this is the can of worms I like to open up. And I think you can have 50 clubs in your bag. You can have high launch, low launch, spin drivers. Let's just
50
let's just go
clubs?
balls to the wall.
Jesus.
Guys like driving full carts with just filled with clubs. No, I think I would like to see standardized balls where it's like tennis, where you have a standardized ball, every ball is the same, but you do have different brands. You could play a Penn ball, you could play a Dunlop ball, whatever tennis brands there are, have all different balls. And then obviously like the US Open standard, but they're all standardized, they're all the same, but then you can kind of pick your favorite brand. Like, yeah, I'm a Titleist fan. That's why I play Titleist. They look better, but I mean, they're all pretty much uniform right now in terms of the premium balls. Like the only reason
Yeah,
I
there are
play
some
Kobe
clear there are
Max is
some
because,
clear tiers like to them
right,
for sure. But like
but they're just too good. The performance is too good,
yeah.
which and I don't know. And then you get into the problem with like you have your everyday hack who's a 16 handicapper. We know a bunch of guys who are just starting out in the game. They're 24 handicaps. They want to go out and drink a beer. And now we're like, hey, you know what, golf? Like you've been not sure if you want to get into it because it's so hard. Well, that ball you've been using is the reason it's been kind of easy, and now that's gone. So now you're
Well,
completely
also flip it
screwed. So
this
like, what
way.
would
Like
they do?
that person, but flip it this way. That person that's the 16 to 20 handicap cap that just thinks that, all right, I'm going to play golf this weekend. I need to go buy a box of balls. And what do they gravitate toward? They gravitate toward the $50 box of Pro V1s, right? Well,
Right,
guess what, dude? You don't need to spend $50 on those Pro V1s because you're gonna lose them all, right?
right,
Go buy the $25 Bridgestone B66s or whatever the hell they are. Like,
yeah,
save your money, right? Like,
right.
there should be like a clear demarcation of like where those lines are drawn. But if you have a standardized ball, like it doesn't matter. That 16 can go buy a $20 box of balls. They don't feel the pressure to like need to go buy the Pro Vs and lose them all.
But
Because guess what?
wouldn't
The
that
technology in
standardized
that
ball
ball isn't
everything be
going to
the
help.
same? But wouldn't that all be the same? Every ball would just be the $40 ball at that point.
It depends what kind of logo you want on it.
That's true. You could get some good logos. You could get the triple track. Triple track would be triple the price for the
Triple the
triple
price for
track.
the triple track for sure.
You'll get the whatever the hell they're calling the Versa or whatever the TaylorMade's putting on their ball now.
Oh, the soccer ball looking ones.
Yeah, the soccer ball
Yeah,
looking
Wolf was
ones.
using one of them. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
It looks
guess
cool
they're
on it looks cool on like chip shots because it's like it almost like trundles all the way to the hole
right.
and putts like that. But I don't know,
I
drives and
actually
iron
like the
shots.
I like the TaylorMade one. Like that logo's kind of cool looking. The straight soccer ball Callaway one, I'm not really a fan of. That's kind of like ugly. It just looks
Mm.
like a soccer ball.
Maybe it's
But
just because Matt Wolf uses it and Ricky uses it too. The TaylorMade soccer ball looking one.
mhm.
I always think they're Oklahoma State logos.
Mm,
That's what like the
that'd be
first
pretty
thing I
sweet.
think of. If that's like that's what they are. They're not, but like it's kind of like an orange looking logo and the two Oklahoma State guys.